In the last few video lectures, we looked at structure of proteins. Now let's try to understand how is the structure kept intact. Let's discuss conformational stability of proteins. I would have repeated this several times, but I would like to reiterate once again. So the central dogma of life is formation of mRNA from DNA by a process called as transcription and formation of proteins by a process called as translation. Now this phenomena is carried out by something called as codons. Codons, they contain the necessary information for formation of amino acids and proteins. Production of proteins, it's said to occur in a sequential manner. First, what happens is polypeptide chain is formed in the ribosomes, and then these chains undergo various types of non-covalent interactions to form the 3D structure of protein. So here you have unfolded state, the polypeptide chain, which undergoes a series of non-covalent interactions resulting in the three-dimensional structure, which is also called the native structure of protein or the state of lowest energy. The forces that offer stability to the three-dimensional structure of protein or that aids in the formation of tertiary structure, they can be divided into two, depending on whether the origin is from within the protein molecules or from the medium in which protein molecule is placed. If it is from within the protein molecules, the forces are called as intramolecular forces. Under intramolecular forces, you have steric hindrance and van der Waals forces. If the forces are from the solvent present surrounding the protein, then they are called as intermolecular forces, under which you have hydrogen bonding, ionic bonding, and hydrophobic bonding. In this slide, I have tried to highlight the differences between two intramolecular forces originating within protein. On the left hand side, you have steric forces, and on the right hand side, we have van der Waals forces. So, steric forces, they originate from spatial arrangement of atoms within a protein molecule. So, it is that state which is essentially due to the arrangement of atoms in space. When two atoms come together, there is an increase in the energy of the system. Although from a thermodynamic standpoint, we know that there is a tendency for system to be in the lowest state of energy possible. What happens is, in case of steric effect, there is interaction between elements that do not form any sort of bonds, but they have the capacity or capability to change a molecule's reactivity and shape. It has the tendency to enhance electrostatic interactions, thereby having an impact on the molecular structure and reactivity. You know, when we talk about electrostatic interactions, we are essentially talking about like charges repel each other, unlike charges attract each other. It can enhance this impact or effect. Remember when we discussed primary structure of proteins? I mentioned there are two angles which have some sort of rotational freedom in proteins. They are named as psi and phi angles respectively. But because of this steric effect, there is steric hindrance from the side chain. They cannot rotate to 360-degree freely. What is the consequence of this? Because of this, there are limited number of configurations of protein that can be formed in nature. On the right hand side, you can see van der Waals forces. Van der Waals forces, they are weak interactions which are produced either by dipole-dipole or dipole-induced dipole interactions. So, when two atoms come together, you can see here two atoms come together. What happens is that there is a polarization of the electron cloud. Polarization means there is charge production. This polarization is responsible for the molecules behaving like dipoles as they have an attractive component and a repulsive component. Now, what is the magnitude of van der Waals force? Depends on the interatomic distance. So, the attractive force is inversely proportional to interatomic distance to the power 6, and repulsive force is inversely proportional to interatomic distance to the power 12. These van der Waals interactions, they are short range interactions which are almost negligible beyond a certain distance. Generally, it's 6 angstrom. For different pairs of atom, the van der Waals interaction energy, it varies from minus 0.04 to minus 0.19 kilocalorie per mole. Now, when we talk about proteins, the contribution of van der Waals forces is significant in protein folding and maintenance of stability, as there are several pairs of atoms exhibiting van der Waals interactions. Thank you for listening to me patiently. If you have any queries, please feel free to put them in the comment section and I'll get back to you at the earliest. In the next lecture, we'll take up intermolecular forces conferring protein its stability. Until then, merci beaucoup.